Oh, that was a perfect clap. Hello, everybody, and welcome back yet again to a nice drum playthrough review. Thanks again for tuning into another installment. For everyone brand new, hi and welcome. My name is Nick. I am a drummer and a multi-instrumentalist, and we do videos like these so that way we can learn from drummers who are better than us, analyze their technique to a nice and easy to digest form, and ultimately use that technique to make ourselves better musicians. And we've got an absolute legend we're reviewing today. If you guys don't know, most of this channel we focus on death metal drummers for the most part, mainly because death metal is kind of the genre that I particularly stylize and specialize in, I guess you could say. However, I do have quite a love for other genres such as reggae, such as pop, in some instances, softer rock, jazz a little bit, maybe just a sprinkle of jazz, you know what I'm saying? Or even other things, such as, punk rock or something like that. Or ska. I absolutely love ska. That's a fun genre to listen to. But for the most part, death metal, that's my jam. And that's the thing that I love listening to the most. I love listening to death metal, tech death, deathcore, stuff like that. And we've got an absolute titan of death metal on the channel today. We're going to be checking out George Kollias. Now, that is a name that has weight to it. That man has been playing for Nile for many, many years. The dude is an absolute legend. He needs no introduction. As far as blasting is concerned, that man has been the speed king of blasting for the longest time known possible. He was hitting speeds that nobody thought was able to be physically possible at the time, and he was able to honestly inspire a lot of amazing metal drummers out there who are here nowadays that are speed demons themselves. This man's an absolute legend, and he has some of the most iconic drum fills and all that in death metal history. And we're going to be reviewing a song he did as a playthrough from Nile called Shall Rise, Shall Be Dead. Once again, dude's an absolute legend and needs no introduction, so we're not even going to speak on it any further. Let's just let his technique speak for itself, and let's see what we can learn from this man. Before we start, though, I check my YouTube analytics as any good creator should, and only about 0.7% of you guys are actually subscribed to the channel. What are you guys doing with your lives? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We do a lot of fun stuff and a lot of videos just like this on here. We're going to have a lot more fun content coming your way, so stick around. It's going to be a fun journey. All right. Well, without further ado, ladies and gents, let's jump right in. This is Nile, Shall Rise, Shall Be Dead. By the way, it's very hard to find a playthrough where it's not just like two camera angles. This is a couple different ones, which is good. I want to get his technique from all sorts of perspectives. Nice little build-up we got going on here. First thing to note, look at his posture. His posture, he's keeping his back nice and straight. He's keeping his head back. He's not like leaning his head forward like this. We got swivel technique going on here. That's a pressure swivel if I ever seen it. Now you might be wondering what that pressure swivel is. That's finding the sweet spot on your pedal board and then just swiveling your foot back and forth like that. And it gets nice, good, fast strokes. Well, yeah, speed demon. He's got an interesting technique about him, too. He's not hitting super hard, and that's because he's going blazing fast. It's actually, for me, it's a little bit hard to figure out exactly what technique he's using, just looking at it. Because it looks like there's some listening. There's some wrists and there's some fingers involved, but it's not exactly American grip. Definitely, we got the pressure swivel going on here. It looks like he might be adapting some stuff with molar technique a little bit. Just by looking at it. Because his wrist is kind of coming like in and out, kind of like a bowing motion when he's blasting on his left hand. So that might be like partially fingers and partially molar technique. Maybe, I can't 100% say for sure. He gets a little break here to kind of breathe. So that's interesting. When he's doing the bursts, he's not doing swivel technique on the bass drums. Double ride. Absolutely. I agree. Oh, yeah. Metric modulation. Hell yes, brother. You'll notice when he's playing those fills and all that, when he's playing extremely fast, he's not like playing into the drum kit, he's playing over top of it. And I'll explain that a little bit later. Yeah, there's definitely some fingers going on, and I think a little bit of molar technique involved too. And I think he's using the same bass drum beaters as me. Let's see, not the same pedals, but the same beaters for sure. I just think he's using felt tips on his. Those might be. Hold on. I need to see when they're a little bit more still, if possible. He is. Okay. Those pedals are good, by the way. If you guys aren't aware, George Kollias was involved in the production of the new Pearl Demon Drive pedals, which, by the way, absolutely phenomenal pedals, super smooth action, fantastic. Without further ado, let's get into the analysis on this, because this dude's technique is something crazy. George Kollias. What more needs to be said? Dude's an absolute master at his craft, and he's definitely had years and years of experience in order to be able to get to that level that he's at. Now, what exactly was going on with that hand technique is honestly beyond me at this point. From what I could see from my angle, he's using some wrist motion, some fingers, and he's got his wrist kind of curled over like this when he's playing, and then he's bringing it kind of in a bowing motion like that. Now, what that is specifically, I have no clue, but what it looks like, at least to me, a little bit of molar technique, a little bit of fingers, and maybe just a little bit of wrist in combination with each other. I might be incorrect in saying that, I'm not 100% sure, but at least as far as it looks to me, that's kind of what it looks like right there, which definitely does explain the kind of bowing motion that he's doing a little bit in order to be able to try and get multiple strokes out of, one wrist motion per se. As far as his foot's concerned, that's a pressure swivel. Pressure swivel, what that is, as I explained earlier, that's when you have your tension on the springs for your pedal board tuned up very high, and what you do is you just find a little spot on the pedal board that's a little bit of a sweet spot, and you just start swiveling your foot back and forth like that. And what happens is eventually you start finding that sweet spot in there, right? After using your pressure swivel, you start noticing that the pedal board starts to move like this in tandem, and it's when you find that sweet spot that you start getting that swivel and you start getting the motion, which causes the pedal to start reacting. And that pedal reaction allows you to start getting strokes, and you can get really fast, insane strokes with that. It's not a very powerful technique, but it doesn't have to be, because he's triggered out, and most of the time death metal drummers are going to have triggered out kicks at the end of the day. Because you can play with acoustic kicks, and yeah, it sounds fine, but it's not going to have the same consistency and attack as you would have with triggered out kicks. Henceforth, why most drummers will trigger out their kit live, because it's about having the show sound good. Absolutely insanely fast. He's got really good look at me, almost hit myself with the drumstick. Jeez. His hand technique is really interesting, and his posture is really good as well. He's very relaxed while he's playing, while keeping upright posture and keeping really nice and balanced. Now you'll hear I mentioned earlier as well that he was playing, when he's playing his fills, he's playing over the drum kit, not into the drum kit. So when he's playing, if someone is playing into their drum kit, what that means is that they are leaning forward while they're playing, using a lot more of a upward motion like that. They're leaning forward, they're leaning into their drum kit to try and get that speed and that power. And here's the thing, that's not always very good for you because it can promote tension. Now when he's playing over his drum kit, what that means, usually it means that he's got his toms oriented just a little bit higher than normal, and he's got them more flat angled, kind of like this, so that way he has to play over top. So that way he's not putting too much strain into it and doing something like that where it sounds really sloppy and bad, but instead, kind of like he's playing a quad drum setup in like a marching band or something like that. He's playing over top so that way he can ultimately use much cleaner technique and play a lot faster. So once again, George Kollias, he's a beast for a reason. The man has become a legend in the realm of death metal drumming for a reason, and that is because he has set the marker during his time of what death metal drumming should sound like. He served as an inspiration to many, many people, and he's absolutely sick. Definitely, if you can attend one of his drum clinics or get drum lessons from him via Skype, online, or something like that, do so, because it is definitely worth your time, and his advice is definitely something that is very resourceful. It'll definitely help you out a lot. And if you get the chance to see him live with Nile, I highly recommend it. It's an absolutely phenomenal experience. And with all that being said, y'all, that's the end of this playthrough. So thanks everybody for tuning in and stopping by. George, absolutely fantastic playthrough. I'm going to link his channel as well in the description and the end screen. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought down below and start a conversation with me. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos I got on my channel, very similar to this. And with all that being said, that's the end of this one. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers and have a good one.